Should I continue?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the listing appointment flow, when you're meeting with your clients. Um, there is a flow that we have, you're building rapport and like I always say, like, if you guys join me on the Friday evenings, I always say we build relationships. So you have to start building that rapport, you have to start building that trust with the sellers at the first interaction. So you have to start that presentation, building that trust. And so normally what I do, I don't automatically start with the, oh, here's your presentation. I try to get to know them a little bit for a few minutes before I jump right in there to that, before I start. I want to start building a foundation with them, okay? Now, explaining the process, and this is where it takes practice, folks, because, hold on one second. Do you think that maybe we should put your computer here and?
No, I'll just
Here?
follow
Okay.
you. But yeah, I have, go ahead. You're
So
good.
Explaining the process is what you guys, that's practice. You're not going to get it right at your first client. You're going to, like I said earlier, you're going to build on that. So your first one might be kind of shaky, your second one, you start getting a flow, you start getting that knack. You walk through marketings, what you're gonna do marketing wise, showing wise. You're gonna go over the paperwork. And you're going to this is very important because the client is already nervous. I mean, first of all, this was the biggest purchase they ever made in their lives. Now they want to make sure that they're getting something back. And you're going to ease their concerns, because you're going to explain to them when you present your CMA, you're going to explain to them market conditions, values, you're going to recommend all this stuff, and it's your responsibility to present the pricing structure that you're going to use. So, for example, everybody does it differently. You're going to create your own style, and nobody's situation is wrong. The way I do it is I present the low and the high, and also the common ground, as I call it. So, like Kristen and I were talking yesterday, and the way I do it is different from the way she does it. So, but
very similar,
yeah.
just using different verbiage.
Yeah, so I like to present all 3 points, all 3 pricing points, that is. And that way your client is very informed, okay, this is the low, this is the high, and, and this is the common ground. And they need to understand what's happening in their neighborhood. So it is your job when you do those CMAs. That's why we practice them so much, guys. That's why we keep telling you, get into that digital chalk, do those contract writing, do those CMAs, because the more you do, the better you get at it. Because there's so much that's going to influence your CMA. There's so much that's going to influence your CMA. Conditions of the home, the year it was built, believe it or not, the neighborhood, what's happening in the neighborhood, is there new development going up? There's a lot of factors that go into your pricing, and that's why the more you practice those CMAs, the better you're going to get at them. And and the more you're in the system, sometimes you're gonna get to a point where you look at that house and you say, there's a number that pops in your head, and then you do that CMA, and sometimes you get really close. I like to test myself to see if how close I can get by just looking at the property, looking at the neighborhood, because I know the neighborhood, or I've done research and I'm saying, oh, okay, this is what's happening. I think that house will go for 189.9. And when I do my CMA and I get close to it, I'm like, yes. But always do a CMA. Don't go by what you think. That is a game that I play with myself, just so I can hone the brain to get to know these are the steps I need to do, and I do them and I test myself and yes. So,
Well, and you have to think about is, especially when you're new, you don't have the knowledge and skill yet to go into a property and really have a feel for what the price should be. And to, build on what Angel said is, as a new agent, please never give a listing price, give a range. And in my whole career, I always give a range. Because, and that's what he does. He says where he thinks the most common ground for him is where most buyers are landing when it comes to the price that they're willing to pay. But it really has to be tied to the seller's motivation. Are they in a hurry or do they have some time to wait? Because if they're in a hurry, then they have to price it a lot more aggressively, meaning lower on that range than they would if they have some time. Does that make sense? So please don't go in there, because if you tell them what the list price should be and you don't get any offers at that list price, how do you think that makes you look?
That's your fault.
yeah,
It's your fault. And it's not them making the decision. You want to give them good information to make a knowledgeable decision. And so you give them a range, and that's what Angel does. We just explain it differently.
so, for example, I had a new listing go live this morning.
Yay.
And the technique, like Kristen said, the technique with him, he wants to sell. So the technique with him is, and you work this out with your client, is I priced it here. And within 4 or 5 days, I'm dropping it. And he's okay with that because
He wants to
We-
try it at that.
we talked it out, and he knows where he's happy with walking away. So we've discussed that, so I know his bottom left dollar, and I know where we're going to start, because. And already we have 3 showings and, I don't know how many saves already and likes, so which is good, so hopefully we'll get that starting price. Or, last weekend, one of the agents here, one of you guys, sold a house in 24 hours. And there was a bidding war on it. And so his price was here, he ended up here. So it's a win-win. So you got to make sure you do those, speak with your client, know where you're pricing, know what your marketing strategy is going to be. So that price that I started with, within 4 days, you'll see that drop if I don't have an offer.
I actually have a power tool that you should be taking to your listing appointments that is called, I think, strategic price adjustments. And what it is you're already agreeing with the seller in advance of price reductions. So, and it depends on the market. He said 4 days, the template says 30, 60, 90, but that would be a buyer's market. So you would adjust, like, how often are we going to have a conversation about price adjustment? Because I will tell you, agents haven't had to have that conversation very much in the last 4 or 5 years. Because houses sold so quick. And now we're seeing houses stay on the market longer, thus you're going to need to have those conversations. And if you don't do it in advance, it is probably one of the hardest conversations you can have with a seller. Nobody wants to have that talk, and you'll put it off and you'll put it off, and you might put it off too long and miss the market for your sellers. Because it was such a hard conversation, whereas if you already have it agreed to in advance, like, when are we gonna have it and how much is that adjustment going to be? I mean, I already talked, how much are we going down, what percent, that type of thing. So that you already have a game plan and say, I hope we don't have to go to this, but we've got a plan just in case the market doesn't embrace us at the price that we come on, that we think they're gonna like.
I know there was strategic price.
Price adjustment, I think that's what it's called in the power tools, strategic price. Yeah, I think that's it. Out of 56, I don't always remember.
And I know I keep harping on this, guys, but you have to go into that digital chalk. There's so much stuff in there. There's so much practice in there, you just keep going in, logging in, and you do know your coaches can watch your progress.
Yeah, we do see what you're doing. And pretty soon, you know, I've been posting the quizzes on the Facebook page. Well, those are gonna all be in digital chalk. The student manuals will all be in digital chalk. I'm not going to keep as much on the Facebook page because it's harder to find.
Yeah.
You can't, so we will have all of that in there. Yeah, that's what we're going towards. It's just, I don't have everything in there yet.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, but I would start getting in there and, okay. Now, we're gonna have activity number 1 here,
Whoop, whoop.
and, I think those folks, you're gonna put them in classrooms, right? So
I,
activity number 1, you guys are gonna pair up. And I think we can do 2s in here.
yeah, we can do twos if Megan does with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do twos. And every activity, you're gonna switch partners.
exactly. You
So-
do-
We have at least 3 activities today. 4 if we get through all of them. But every time we switch to a different activity, you're gonna go for a different partner.
Yeah.
So don't get
So-
too comfortable.
So your first script, it's on your desk there, it's behind the. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick a script, 1 or 2.
There's 3 of them.
Good.
Uh-huh, there's a third one. Right there, no, on the other side with the big picture on it, that's script 3.
Oh, and script 3.
Yeah,
So you're going to pair up, you're going to select a script. Choose from warm and friendly, confident market expert, or result-driven approach. And you're going to role play. Deliver your introductions with focus on tone, confidence, and clarity. Okay? So how are we going to split? You gonna stay right there? Okay. Find a partner.
it won't be me, it'll be Megan or, because I've got to man the Zoom. I
So somebody.
gotta man the Zoom.
Okay.
So Connor and Jody, Jasmine's working, she's online, but she's working, so she will not be able to practice those scripts. So I'm gonna put you all in a room. I've got to, give me a second to do that.
I'm driving, Kristen, so I may not be able to do too much.
Are you gonna have about 10, 12
I'll try
minutes,
to though.
to practice these scripts?
Yeah, no worries.
Give me a class on how to do it.
No, I'll do it with you. Well, I can't do the Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to figure out how best to do that, because it takes a little bit. Don't worry.
Because in the other,
Here you guys go. So Jody and Connor, I'm putting you in a room together and you will have 10 minutes. So joining the room. No. Hold on. I can't join it, but you guys should be. Huh. You should be going in. Are you going in? Yep, you just went in your room.
What's your ideal thing? And what are the most important things for you as clearly.
but. Needs some areas. I want to use three. Okay.
Targeted marketing, pricing strategies that will track so it's for your town. I've also like your house, position your home in the business, there is a bunch of messages. And you learn to be your best and make sure that you feel confident. I believe you are selling your own detail, which is very close to what the experts find it's possible. Definitely right. Getting to people that things.
Hey Siri, set a 10-minute timer. Thanks.
Yeah. Yes. But you're like, okay. That helped me.
I set a timer, so.
Okay. And then when they set the timer, they switch.
No, it's for 10 minutes, so
Then we.
yes, then you'll go to activity 2.
But we talk about the critiques.
Yeah. Do the feedback and how they feel about the scripts and how they did and any of their thoughts and stuff.
They critique their agents.
Yeah. You're fine. You're fine. Once you get a handle on the tech part,
Yeah.
that's the biggest challenge usually for the instructors.
Okay.
So. Yeah, this is what you want to see is them doing this.
Yeah.
This is what's cool. And make sure they're switching roles and practicing all the scripts, because in 10 minutes, they can probably switch roles and practice scripts. On this activity, yes, they should be, if they can practice all 3, and they should be changing roles. One should be the seller, one should be the agent, and yeah, taking turns on practicing all 3 if they can.
And then you and I moved to the next activity.
And then I'll follow you. Yeah, I can't change screens yet until I close the room for Connor and Jody, because then they come back on. Right now, see, so here's what it looks like is when you send them to a breakout room, I could manually do it so that I didn't put Jasmine, because Jasmine told me I'm working from home, so I can't participate, which is fine. And so I just put Connor and Jody in the room. And so it took them off of here because they're off on their own. And then I will put,
He's in there, but he's working.
yeah. And so, but when the 10 minutes is up, I will hit the close all rooms and that will bring them back on with us.
Okay.
So it's like we not send them to timeout, but we send them to a breakout room so they can do their exercise together. So have you tried all 3? Do all of them. All of them. You've got enough time. We've got, how much time on my timer? 6 minutes. So yeah, do all, take turns doing them like you were.
Yeah. Thanks for taking the time to be on this. And I have social all I do. Real estate for living and it's my job. My clients typically raise wages. We'll take this, I'll start by getting to how it is. Strategy for your. This is how it looks. And that's so you.
5 minutes. We've got more than enough time. And this is, yeah, do it. It's got 5 minutes.
I know some. And that is something I take very serious. Yeah, that's what. So I would say if you. But to come with, like, to have already done all of your. So I would say come with like your listing. There's that presentation, so come with your. Listing presentation, to have like a copy of this, and you can get this. Have a copy of this, right, to share. I think it's a good goal. Yeah, and I think email it to you. Should be able to I mean, there's some. Yes, yeah, exactly. One, I do something. Yeah. I mean, Yes. Yes. I think, yes, but I think, like, I was teaching a lot of other things today. Like, So you just go into class and do that. The whole yeah, it's great. We're gonna say. I'm just recommending doing something for society to make it more appealing to,
We have about 1:40 until we go to the next, so if you've done all of the script, don't switch the roll.
Then we're gonna listen, to get ready to. You're gonna try the results driven approach. What's the big one? Right there. Oh, did you already did that one? Yeah. You want me to try it?
33 seconds. I'm gonna send the boys back in. It'll take them a minute to come back in. So it's telling them now that wrap up and that they need to leave the breakout room, not break up. They don't log back in, they just come, the Zoom brings them back in. Okay,
Okay.
you guys want to wrap it up? Wrap up your activity. So you go to your next slide, go to your next slide.
Okay, guys. Okay. Okay, let's bring it back and we're going to do some feedbacks here, okay, on the practice. So, you need to reflect on your performance, partner feedback and instructor insights, okay? So, go ahead and take a moment to discuss what went well and identify areas of improvement. So we can start over here. What went well and what can you improve?
I would say improve, honestly, just more process and just the confidence.
Mhm.
I know we both went towards like, script number 1.
Uh-huh.
It was just like, because we didn't feel very confident with script number 2.
Okay.
And so just, I mean, really just more like confidence. And then something that we did, I mean, we already have a relationship, so that was like easy to
Mhm.
just like go back and forth and feel comfortable and trust the other person.
And what did your agent do well?
I would say that we just like dove a little bit deeper in figuring out of the 3, what was the most important to them. And just asking them questions.
Uh-huh. Okay. And Daniel?
I see better, I haven't practiced scripts that much, I'm not actually like reading this word for word, I'm
Mhm.
taking it and making my own thing,
Yes.
all of them. Like she said, though, we both kind of were drawn to script 1, because as soon as they say confident market expert, I'm like, not me. Anyways, the first one, Mormon friendly, that's what we know. So, kind of combining them all and figuring out,
Mhm.
like what comes across the best, what fits me,
Okay.
best too.
Okay. Ash?
I thought Caitlin did a really good job with her role playing. We did a little bit of like back and forth, so she did a great job with the questions that I asked, like kind of pivoting and answering confidently.
Mhm. How did you feel with your performance though?
With mine?
You
Oh, yeah.
being the agent.
For me, I felt like,
Where do you feel you can
Yeah.
improve?
I think the warm, like a marriage between the warm and friendly and the results driven approach will be how where I'll land.
Uh-huh.
And I think just kind of learning some of like the verbiage, just verbatim so that it like flows off the tongue
Mhm.
is where I can improve. Other ways I can improve, but yeah.
I really like script 2, because I feel like it's kind of like me, it's like more direct, but,
Mhm.
it's confident.
So you like that direct approach? Yeah, buy this house.
I like the direct approach with facts, I feel like.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, what was it?
But, so do you feel that you're going to develop, maybe, like you said, you can mold certain things from each of these scenarios?
Oh, yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
like to do that, the script 2.
Doug?
But I'm kind of a warm and friendly type of guy anyway, so I don't think I can do any of the other approaches, so well, I can do it. But the warm and friendly is the one I really like. And, can
I think you're absolutely right. I don't see you as that aggressive.
I feel like the other ones would be aggressive, like I'm trying to tell somebody what to do.
Uh-huh.
But I like the part of the meeting, you say teamwork, I like that. I like the teamwork and, the part about where you, to me, I like to be, transparent. I want
Yes.
to explain to them everything that I'm doing, I want them to know everything, cause that's what I like to do.
Yes.
You know, I try to put myself in their shoes and then.
Now, guys, that is such a great word, transparency. We have to be we have to be really, and that's how you build that trust with your potential clients, your new home buyers, you know, they're nervous already, so that transparency, they'll see you as somebody they can trust, so that's very good.
Yeah, cause it's sort of like me and you, the client.
Mhm.
We're gonna do this together and we're gonna accomplish this together and, just, you know, I'm gonna help you with the knowledge that I have. And I share it with the client and then they may, you know, they may come up with more things to help themselves. So I just like that teamwork type of thing. And, I like the part about when you all were saying you can give them options or, what do you call that? You don't set a particular price, you give them options of 2 or 3 different prices. And if price range, yeah, if you go with the lower price range, you may sell faster. If you go with the middle price range, you may end up holding to the home a little longer. If you go with this price range, you may actually hold your home a lot longer.
Yeah.
Because this is the higher end of the price range.
That's great.
So, and then also, the part that you had said earlier, talking with the client and let's say we keep your home on this price range for a couple of weeks. And if we don't have any, acknowledgement or nobody's coming by to see it or this and that, let's discuss lowering the price range to the second one.
Yeah.
And then lowering it on down to the first level, just, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I just really wanna beat each of us to be on the same team.
That, very good, thank you, Doug. Jocelyn and Brooke in the back.
We could both agree that keeping it more casual and kind of like more like a conversation to like making them feel even more nervous in their own house. Like just hitting them with straight facts, you know, it's like pounding them with statistics and stuff like it's good to like have those maybe intertwined, but to keep it light and like a conversation.
And if you guys know this, you're gonna build this over time, and that's why I practice in the mirror. And you guys need to, you know, the more practice you have, and I say if you have some time between doing your, you know, catching up on your paperwork, doing your digital chalk meeting with your client, grab one of the agents and practice. Mhm. And Megan, what would you think?
I like Doug's approach, because he is, you know, friendly already. He just kind of said, this is, you know, how I would like to help you as, you know, the homeowner to sell your house. These are the services I can provide. He just kind of talked about himself and walked me through it, which was very nice. Then I told him that I thought that is a great way to segue then into your listing presentation and start asking your questions about the home, the information you need to start getting. Explain to people how you're gonna walk them through this process.
And then like your meeting,
Yep.
putting your
Yes.
needle point together, and bringing it all, and then you start, you know, taking them on that journey.
Because he has some really good ideas, like I'd like to go walk around the house and people get their opinion, take them outside and ask them to what do you think about your yard?
Yes.
Think it's gonna have great curb appeal, will be listed, what do you want to change? He wants to be very interactive with his clients, which I think is very.
Yes. It is. Now, remember, you guys, before you go to a presentation, I would do my homework first. I would research the neighborhood, I would research the house. You know, we're realtors, we know how to research a house, so. Because you gotta go, yes, you got to not bring your opinion in and right away. But you're also there as the expert, so if they think that their house is a gem, you got to nicely point out things so they can come back to reality, because we all think that our house is the Taj Mahal. And it's not always, like, I think my home is the best home in the neighborhood. Because it's mine, you know, so that's the way we feel. We bring all these emotions in to a deal. When we call that agent, we're already nervous and like, okay, I want to get 300,000 for my house in a neighborhood that's comping for 205. So that's what we bring in. you know, and
And
it
that's
is
what I
our
was-
responsibility when we're having these conversations to bring them back to reality slowly.
Yeah, have
You
your
can't,
thoughts
you
ready.
can't yank them in
Yeah.
because they're gonna be in total shock. We gotta slowly guide them.
Yeah.
Slowly guide them to reality.
We have Connor and Jody online to
yes.
give their feedback.
Oh, Connor and Jody, what are you guys, I don't know why I'm yelling. I know they can hear me.
Can you all hear me?
Oh, hold on a second, Connor.
Yeah.
Because I'm not on the, hold on a second. Okay, whoa, yeah. Go ahead, Connor. Let me see if I can hear you.
Okay, can you all hear me now?
Yeah, you can kind of hear if you'll be really, because we've got two computers going right now, so you're not on the big microphone.
Okay, well, I just say I read the confident market expert approach and the results driven approach. And both of them were similar. The results one, it definitely gets more to the point, and I like how it kind of it lists out a specific goal. But I can see, I think you would definitely want to kind of feel your client depending upon how they just interaction, that you would use different approaches, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. That's spot on.
Mhm.
Remember, these scripts, you also have to think, which one am I most comfortable with? However, which one will connect to my client the most? Because if you have a data-driven client, the warm friendly may not be enough for them. They want more.
They want paperwork.
Yeah, they want, give me some more meat,
Yeah.
right?
So I
So-
always take all that information with me, and then whether you use it or not,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
don't know, depending on the
That-
time.
I like that. That's why I said, do your homework, like
Yes.
Megan brings the meats and potatoes with her. And she is ready because when she feels her client, she then knows what direction that conversation's gonna go.
Jody, can you talk and do you have any feedback on the exercise?
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just,
Okay,
I-
it's us, not you.
I think, yeah, just the communication with the client. I just think after you read them a little bit more, you get a little more confident in what you're saying or trying to communicate to them.
Yeah, he's saying that it just helped him communicate and feel more confident. Again, this is about you not sounding new, and who wants to sound new? Does anybody want to sound new?
In 1 mile, keep right.
Oh, somebody's driving. Yeah, Jody's driving.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll turn that off.
Okay, it's okay. So that's where you have to keep in mind, even if you have some aversion to scripts, it's so that you don't sound new. And I don't know about you, but I don't like sounding dumb or new. I don't. And if there's something that can help me through that, then I gravitate towards that. Gives me something solid in how to respond. Thanks,
this
guys.
This is a true story. My very first client, I am a new agent. And I didn't have this wonderful classes with teaching me scripts and all that. I showed up there with my bag and my cell phone, and I'm driving to Leavenworth. That was my first set,
Oh, boy.
Leavenworth. And we worked together for a long time before he finally decided to pull the trigger. My very first showing with him, my very first presentation, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just on my phone scrolling through the app to talk about the house. And he ended up buying the house, and actually to this day, we're still friends. We call each other, and I always check up on him. He's a little older. He opened up a little kitchen, and he's a chef, so. And so we still friends today, but boy, it was tough because I had nobody to practice with.
Well,
And
you had no one to
I had
teach you.
nobody to teach me, so I got my license and they said, go sell.
Me
And the
too.
broker says, oh, we don't teach, you just,
You just go.
You just go, you go. So, anyway, but, as you go, you're going to develop your own style and you're going to find out, who you are as a realtor, and also you're going to cater those styles to your clients. So it all starts coming together. Okay, now,
You should.
don't get nervous. Everybody. Fellas, objections. We all want to be liked. We all, this is the biggest. This is the biggest part of our job, is overcoming objections, okay? So common objections, as you see there. We want to price it higher and see what happens.
I call that the lucky factor.
Yeah.
I'll go-
So do I.
Or gambling. Are you a gambler?
Yeah.
Roll the dice.
One agent said they could sell it for more. Well, you know, you are going to experience that because all that's, by the way, guys, this is a very competitive job. We're competing with, everyone out there. We're competing with each other as agents. And yes, any agent can go up there and say, I can sell your house for more. But an educated agent knows exactly what, or close to what that house is going to sell. And what you're going to, that's with doing your homework.
That tactic, actually, I call that buying a listing.
Mm-hmm.
There are agents who buy listings hoping that they can then beat the seller down to change their price once they get the listing. So it's kind of, no, it's not kind of, it is a bait and switch. And there are some agents that is their tactic to get listings. And it is not a good tactic.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they don't ever get that seller to change. And then they tick up days on market and they don't get a good list price to sales price. And then they don't have good stats to share with sellers. They can't say I can get it sold quick. I can sell it close to list price. They can't say that because they bought a listing. Oh.
Okay.
It is scary. Oh, it is
It's
scary.
very scary. Very, very scary. One of the biggest hurdles to overcome in our profession. But just like when you're doing your presentations. You're also selling yourself.
And your
Okay.
services.
And your services, and your marketing skills, and your CMA skills, and your event skills. You have to bring the whole package. You know, I think that you should treat every listing that is like a $1.5 million listing because you at the top of your game. Just because the house is being sold for $260, they deserve the same service as a house that's getting $1.5 million.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because when you bring your game, you're going to get your commission. Because you're going to tell them exactly how you're going to sell that house, how involved you're going to be. I mean, the house I just listed, I had my godson go over there and trim the bushes because we have a little side landscaping business. So he cleaned the bushes up for the client. I'm treating that client like his home is $1 million. Because to my client, that home is $1 million. So for me, to bring my game.
A good way to demonstrate what you are gonna provide, the value you do bring is to have, this is Kristen's version, but have your menu of services available as
Exactly.
part of your presentation and say, this is everything that I do for you as your agent to get you from the beginning of this process to the closing date.
Yeah.
We'll actually have
And
a
it helps
class.
them recognize all of
Exactly.
the value you do have.
I have.
And then
very
to
simple-
hire me to help you with all of these things to get you to the finish line,
Yes.
there's a 3% commission fee.
Yes.
So a week from
Compensation
today,
fee.
next Thursday, We'll be talking about the menu of services along with marketing the listing.
Yeah.
Because if you tie your compensation to your services and you offer different levels of services, Daniel, it then takes out the fear of, well, will they pay me this amount? They're actually gonna make a choice. Do they want this marketing package, this marketing package, or this marketing package?
Mhm.
So the consumer feels that they have a choice. So we'll get all into that next Thursday, because that's what I had to do, Danielle, because I literally hated talking compensation.
Hard too, because I was telling Samantha this, when you're making like a listing presentation, you don't have like the stats of the experience, or like, I can't even say that I know Kansas City well, because I don't, but they could say.
You can research the heck out of it.
That's what I'm saying, is I think that's where the worry comes from, not even like the pay conversation, because so many people like actually do not care for realtors very much,
Mhm.
which is mistakes, but I mean, obviously it's true. That's where my fear comes from, is
Yeah.
like being able to be like, okay, well, you don't want to pay, this is why you're paying, which I can do many of services, like I can give you literally all of my time, but that's where it scares me, because I don't have like anything to like back it up, like.
But you do, so then you rely on the office stats.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to lean on here in the beginning. And I will tell you, and I'm sure Megan and Angel would concur. If you come in like a professional with professional looking materials
Mhm.
and really solid research and a plan, like they won't notice. Because you will, can I tell you, you'll be heads above the average agent, or maybe miles. So here's the good thing to keep in mind as a new agent. It is very easy to differentiate yourself in this industry, because most agents are average or below average. Most agents have never had in-depth training, none. Okay, I won't say none. I've had a tiny little taste, right? So they don't know what they're doing. The average agent that goes by the seat of their pants, kind of doesn't even have a full listing presentation, a professional looking one. They don't. So as soon as you start seeing how ill-prepared and how unprofessional most agents are, you're gonna be like, oh God, I got this. You will shine. And that's how I came out of the gate, is I just tried to look more professional and have more professional presentation and materials than the average agent. And it was rarely like, how many houses have you sold? That hardly ever happened. Yeah.
And guys, just remember, we were all new at one time. The three of us were all new.
Oh, so
What you guys have, and I'm going to give some kudos here. What you guys have, and you have to start believing this in your head, it's how you change that negativity to positive. You guys are powered by Keller Williams. Okay, which is, I mean, bring it home. It's the largest.
We are the largest international real estate franchise in the world. We have the most agents, we sell the most houses, we sell the most dollar of houses. So you have such a strong umbrella.
Exactly. And that's what you're selling. You're selling your services, but remember, you're powered by Keller Williams. And you bring that service. And you're when you're building your, where you direct your clients, it's gonna be attached to Keller Williams. So they're gonna pull you up and they're gonna see Keller Williams there. You have to sell that as well. And when you go, when you guys graduate, and you go, and some of you go into a team, you're gonna be powered by a team that's powered by Keller Williams. You know what I mean? So there, you have that. You're going to build that confidence, because I know you're gonna do awesome. You're gonna do awesome. And you're gonna be powered by us, because I'll be standing right in the bushes watching. Make sure that, you have to, and you work with us. If there's a confidence level that you're lacking, tell one of the coaches, We'll practice with you until you get that,
Mhm.
okay? So we're going to practice objections,
How about if we do it for 8 minutes?
8 minutes, okay?
Yeah, because there's a lot of seller
Yeah.
objections, so on your seller objections,
There-
you've got 4 of them,
Oh.
but they're pretty short. How about 5 minutes?
I forgot to mention FISBOs. A lot of people say I'm gonna sell it myself,
Mm-hmm.
and, do you guys realize that a lot of folks that sell their homes on their own, their homes don't sell?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many, there's so much stuff they don't know. They think they can just slap a sign in the front and I'm gonna sell it and save commission and all that. But they don't know the marketing, they don't know everything that goes into it. So converting a FISBO to a client, as long as they don't have a little red sign on them that do not call, you guys can reach out to them and sell your services and say, hey, I ran a comp on your house, let me just drop it by and let you look at it. And if you're interested, give me a call. Don't, on those FISBOs, what they don't want is agents coming to them saying, give me, I want to sell your house. Give them something, say, hey, this is what the neighborhood is doing, I have this, I just printed this out, I just figured I'd drop it off for you. And walk away. Make sure your information's on there then. And then like, about 3 or 4 weeks later, send them a mailer, stay in their faces. Okay?
Let's do this for 5
Yes.
minutes, because these
5
scripts are pretty short.
Scripts.
I'm gonna
There
put you
is
guys in
the
breakout
activity.
rooms.
Oh, switch people.
Switch your people,
Switch
switch
your
your
people.
peoples.
Grab somebody and even if they're yelling no, you grab them anyway. Who do you wanna go?
Switch people? Yeah. Okay. And then we can just switch here. Where?
My name is Doug.
And we have, we're gonna do this one for
Hey,
5
Siri.
minutes, they're short.
Set a timer for 5 minutes. Got it. Got your time, got the timer on.
My nervousness, like trash my name. Just doing it. Oh, it's that's when
I
speak.
do this.
Yeah.
I go to the side and I'll just do,
So now I have to trim that and it's shaky.
because that'll drive you crazy. Oh, Amy's in Costa Rica.
Oh, and he's waiting.
No, she's in Costa Rica. She just,
Yes, she
she
gets
just-
back
she
Friday.
just posted a picture.
Yeah, she gets back Friday and she says she won't be here for the Friday night get together.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the restroom and I'll be right back. Connor and Jody are in the breakout room. They're good.
Yes.
So we don't know who's got the option bus.
I have many others.
You stress. That we say point time. Actually, reason why I can't take it is because of this, you know, I know. And the thing about it is, me, just me. Really. With California. I am my age. Be like, be saying to them, like, we're.
Well, if you're.
And, so we can do, different ones that
It's really, you know, it's just not long.
in one day and so forth. And maybe we can come up with a better price than the price that you had. And actually, the price that you had right now, we're not done. Some ways. So what I is I can hit much for and they can put it on their social media. Put it on their social and it's on type of social media. I'm gonna put you well, not going to I keep something it might be a what I would say they can share whoever they come. That's more advertising. And I think put that out there for me, so maybe I
Yeah, well, it's on my phone. We have 46 minutes. Close the rooms.
So. This can go over the show.
I like what Keanu posted.
Yeah, I commented.
So
on
sweet.
it. I said, great job in creating trust.
Yeah, that's great. Love it.
Because they're dog, you know, they like it.
I know, cause, yeah. Okay, timer up,
Okay, guys.
timer up.
Timer up, timer up.
Okay, let's
So,
do feedback.
let's do some,
Change your slide to the next one. It's okay. Should be feedback 2. Yeah, just go forward. There you go. You got it.
Well, it's different here. I got this slide. Hey, guys. Let's have some feedback on handling the objectives, objections. Now, some of the key, before we start, our feedback, active listening. Back up your information with really good data. And don't use any pressure tactics with your clients when it comes to overcoming these objections. Okay, now I want some feedback. Let's start in the back this time to the front.
We did read it, trying to understand, you know.
Really do. Was it hard to try to?
Just since I've never really been in this position of having to, like, do a listing presentation or anything, I don't even know the process, so. I don't know what to ask, I don't know what to say,
That's fair.
so let alone if they don't.
Okay, but let me just say one thing. I took her on a listing presentation with me. last week. And she actually did quite well because she's so good with data and marketing that the gentleman was very impressed. We did get that, the new listing that went live today. So. Actually, she did better than she thinks, but you see how as humans, we tend to bring ourselves a little down. Actually, she did well in the selling presentation. Because she brought her knowledge of, the marketing and how she was going to market the property for the client and that kind of stuff. You know, so we talked about social media, we talked about LinkedIn, we talked about all kinds of, we talked about the Facebook Marketplace even. You know, so she brought a lot of information. So actually, Jocelyn, you do better than Hank. Always give yourself some kudos, guys, because you cannot always, you know, okay? That-
we also talked about how we would tweak them a little bit,
Uh-huh.
to sound a little bit like ourselves. As well as like when we're talking about other agents overpricing and whatnot, I want to be super careful about setting myself apart without being like other agents stuck and they've always priced too high. And I'm
Yeah.
the one who's,
Yeah. Don't ever do that.
Especially other agents. Especially like your agent that they're off when you fire them immediately. And it's like the smallest, tiniest thing that an agent messed up on,
Yeah.
like working in.
Always concentrate on what you're bringing to
Yes,
the table.
absolutely, because I think it's come across that way, to clients that are, you think are the only one who can like handle this, and that's obviously just not the case.
Well, and
But
also,
also being confident that you can still communicate that you are capable, you know, what you're doing without doubting other people
Yeah.
like this.
what's important there is what you said about we don't trash other agents. We show the value we bring.
Yes. absolutely.
Now, so to me, when another agent trashes an agent, they're assuming it's the agent's fault. It could have been their client who was difficult and wouldn't get the house in shape, wouldn't agree to a decent price, wouldn't do this. So I never assume it's the agent because I know how hard we work and sometimes we don't have 100% control of our clients.
Yeah.
So you are spot on that we don't win in this game if we tear others down. We just
You
don't.
can tweak and things like that, and obviously change, especially if you're like the second agent, obviously. Correct.
Yeah.
But most of that's with like.
Thank you. Megan?
Brooke and I got off on a tangent. I'll be perfectly honest, so we didn't really deal with that.
Yeah.
Well, we did an objection in a different way,
Yeah.
from a buyer perspective, so
Hey,
sorry.
it's all about having fun. We have to go off on
Other
that.
things in the session.
You guys?
I actually kind of enjoyed this one because that's what the word wizards talk about a lot. And so something about going back to objection to the other agent. I even mentioned, and that hopefully this was right, was like, well, what price did they give you? And do you have the comps? Like, let's compare their comps to the comps that I'm providing. And just figuring out like maybe top dollar isn't what they really want. You know? And so I know it says in here like top dollar, and I read it, but then after we were like reflecting on it, it's like, maybe they actually want to get out of here pretty fast and they don't want top dollar.
Yeah, I had a client that did want it to be fast. They wanted a long closing. So they were happy with the middle number, but they wanted a long closing. So they weren't motivated by money. They were motivated by time. They needed the time to get their affairs and orders to move. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, and everybody's definition of top dollar is different also.
That's true.
You know, we as the agent might be assuming, oh my gosh, that means they want to be the $1 million house in the neighborhood. But in reality, maybe they're thinking they just really would love to get 800 out. And you're like, well, that's not, I can do that. Because part of it is hearing their perspective. What is it that they expect out of that top dollar figure?
They could be creating a new market. I was talking to some coaches and they're like, yeah, they could be creating a new market with like my particular listing that I'm working with. And Like, oh yeah, it's gonna be sitting for a long time. Because, you know, there's just no need in creating a plan. Unless that's what they want, then I'll just do it.
Ashley, Amy.
We got, no, it's okay.
I was just reading her
Who's in
post.
Mexico?
No, she, Costa Rica.
Oh, Costa Rica, yes. Very jealous. Yeah, no, I don't have a lot to add. I feel like these are all really good objections to go over. I thought number one was good and liked playing through that one. Cause I think sharing with them, like the why you don't wanna price it too high is important. And that our goal is to be kind of spot on or right on the money in that way. Even to create, again, knowing what the goals are, 'cause maybe.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Over here.
Well, I kind of like the FISBO, objective because I kind of went in like it was a new listing. I let them know that, hey, the price that you have, it's not too bad, but I have these CMAs, the comparative market analysis. Let's take a look at them and see where you stand in the marketplace. And I say, well, you know, your home is selling in the average price, you're about in the middle, which is not a bad price. It's according on how soon you want to sell your home. Now, I can give you, some little tips on what could make your home look better. You know, you cut the grass, so a little touch up paint here and this and that. This is what I can bring to the table. And it wouldn't be just you selling the house, it will be we're selling the house. I will do whatever it takes to help you sell your home. So I would say like that. And I remember, I had a client that was coming out of the market about three years ago. And, he wanted, oh, I want this much money, 320,000. I was like, man, I didn't see the page. You know, you're looking at something like 230, 250.
Whoa,
He
had high
He
aspirations.
was really way up there. So eventually he ended up firing me. So I was like, that's cool because.
We all get fired. We all get fired.
Well, because he didn't have the plumbing finish it.
I remember that house. I remember that.
Nice house.
Tore up from the
But he
floor.
didn't finish up the plumbing. He didn't, he wanted to, I needed him to change his grate because he would trip over it, some few things like that. So he ended up hiring, it was another Keller Williams agent, which is cool, but, ended up selling for like 194, 174, something like that.
Mhm.
So from 3 to 1.
Yeah.
You were that first agent that
I was
Warren
in
is
front
lessons with.
I was there,
And then-
$320,000, you gotta give me this much money, agent.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
What's gonna happen?
We all do get fired, guys.
Yeah.
I had a house right in my neighborhood and I've sold several houses in my neighborhood. Cause I'm the only agent that lives there and the guy down the street. I'm sorry, he had, he had an 800 square foot house with hardly no yard that he had remodeled. And he wanted me to get him 175,000 in my neighborhood. 800 square feet. And I said, well, I tell you what, I ran the comps. I think I can get you about 125. He goes, oh, that's good. He says, no, I don't want that. He says, I'll list it for 175, so it sat on the market. And then he blamed me for the not selling. And said, okay, so he hired another agent that sold it for 125.
Validation, but.
I've never been happy to get fired, that was one time I was.
Who do we have on Zoom?
We have Connor still on Zoom and then Jody just came in.
Oh.
Were you able to do the last one since you were in the car?
He just kind of read them off to me, and go through any scenarios, but I have had, the objection number 2.
Uh-huh,
There was a property back home
yep.
that I was gonna buy. He had 38 acres. house burnt down, barn burnt down, but all the utilities was there. $150,000. I said, okay, well, give me a minute. This was before I got my license and everything. Well, in the meantime, I didn't know he was talking with an agent already. And I called him back about a week later. He goes, well, I've already got an agent. He goes, but I'm gonna divide it up into 4 different parcels, and they told me I can get 300,000 for each one.
Oh,
I was like, oh, okay, well, how's that gonna happen? He goes, well, they told me that I can list this one as commercial because it's right next to the highway. And it is, it's right next to the highway.
but if it's not zoned,
But if it's not zone commercial.
It's no. It's not. It's all ag.
Mm,
So
mm.
it's just like, okay, well, however you wanna play it, and he sold 3 acres for 250,000. And the other parcels are still sitting there because they're priced too high.
Nothing
And
there.
they can sit for you.
What about you, Connor?
Yeah.
I would just say on the,
Hold on a second, Connor.
We have Connor and
And then we have to wrap up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Connor.
yeah, I was just gonna say on the objections, I think if you have stats to back up kind of against their objections, and you know,
Have stats to back up the
Right.
objections. Yeah, no, that's good observation. Thanks. So
Yeah.
we're out of time, so we're gonna have to wrap up.
we're out of time, guys. If you find me in the hallways, I can explain the pricing strategies and, but, I think a lot of us have talked about these already and,
So the next one, the activity 3, is presenting your CMA.
yeah,
And then activity 4 is closing the listing appointment.
Yeah.
For your homework,
yes.
I say practice these. Practice these with another agent, and practice them on your own so that you're familiar with different ways of talking about the CMA. It can make a big difference on how you present it to people. And then the closing, the listing appointment is all about asking for the business. So I know it's hard to do for many of us, including myself. I had to learn how to ask for the business. Yeah, so asking for the business is, they have the direct close, the assumptive close, and the consultative close. So it is about asking for the business, like the consultative is. I want to make sure you feel completely comfortable with the plan we discussed today. Do you have any last questions or concerns before we move forward? Great. Based on everything we've covered, I believe we're in a great position to attract serious buyers and get your home sold for the best possible price. Let's go ahead and finalize the paperwork so we can get started. I'll walk you through each step. So it is actually taking them, your impulse may be to wait for them to say, I'll hire you. You need to ask for them to hire you. And so finding that script that works, that leads them to that is very important. Don't end your listing appointment and look at it like, you gonna hire me? And you have to find the way that's comfortable for you. Some people are very direct and say, are you ready to get started? Are you ready to work with me? Are you ready to hire me? Figure out what that looks like. And again, you need to mold it to the client too. Different personalities are not gonna, it doesn't bother them that you're asking for the business right up front and not getting all fluffy on the way. And someone you get fluffy on the way because it's all about, does it feel good? Does that help? But practice these so that you can start having, you need a toolkit of scripts. But here's the good thing. You learn scripts like these, and almost every seller has pretty much the same objections and questions. So it's not like you're gonna have to learn a whole slate of new ones for every single client. most of them have the same concerns and questions.
Okay.
There we go. What'd you
Thank
guys think of
you.
all the
Yep.
practice? Is it
Yeah.
good? Thank you.
Thank
Angel.
you.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you for putting up with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
What's your-
You did